Some said he was the problem.
But I don't think Arteta's been a success yet.
No, he ain't.
If anything, I think he's failed at the moment. No, I'll tell you what.
Fans.
I now think Arteta is the problem. That team is capable of winning trophies.
Pundit.
Problem is when you're talking about Arsenal winning league titles, we see what Liverpool are doing and what Man City have done the last few years, and that's the bit where you're still short in terms of their creativity.
Even legends.
Man United played 5 finals in their last 5 years. The United that everyone lost at played 5 finals. In the last 3 years of building that building, you didn't reach a final.
What do you think of the current Arsenal situation of sort of 6 years now, 5-6 years without a trophy, but they're building and they're sort of getting better each time?
That's a tall building now. The building.
At rival stadiums, he was getting mocked. They said he was always the bride, never the bridesmaid. Many claimed he'd never be able to get Arsenal over the line. But now, for Mikel Arteta, it's payback time. He's a man on a simple mission.
What next for Arsenal? Win. Win, win and win. That's what we want. We built for a few years right now. We have a team that is full of enthusiasm and so hungry to win trophies.
To win and win and win again. This is the story of a man with a plan. A masterclass that's been in the making for years. A genius that's finally going to get his moment in the spotlight. This is how Mikel Arteta finally silenced arrogant critics. It's all been part of the plan. Ever since he took over at Arsenal, Arteta's Arsenal has been on a steady rise. When Arteta arrived, he realized Arsenal had a problem. The soul of the club was gone. The fans, the ones the players played for, no longer believed in the project. His critics at the time all said one thing, that he wasn't the man for the job, that Arsenal needed a manager with experience, not a 37-year-old assistant whose managerial career highlight at the time was being Pep Guardiola's ball boy. In his first season, he steadied the ship, won the FA Cup and the Community Shield, but just 6 months after, Arteta hit an all-time low. They sat 15th in the Premier League table after just 1 win in 10 games. If Arsenal had sacked him then, it would have been the end. The critics would have won, but even in his early days, Arteta had a plan. The first step was to build, and in order to build, he had to tear the house down. Arteta realized he had a team full of misfits, of aging players who didn't fit the system. So he got rid of them, step by step. Mesut Ozil left. Matteo Guendouzi and Lucas Torreira left. Socrates left. Shkodran Mustafi followed. David Luiz left. But the time Arteta had cleaned house, he saw the path clearly. He wanted to build the future. Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, Emile Smith-Rowe, Albert Sambi Lokonga, Aaron Ramsdale, all these players either arrived from the youth team setup or were transfers into the club. And more importantly, all these players were aged 23 and under. Arteta wanted a fit squad. A squad that could compete. Now the changes he was making to the DNA were visible. But even with that, the start of his second full season at the club gave the critics another opportunity to fire shots. After 3 games at the start of the 2021-22 campaign, Arsenal was rock bottom following defeats to Brentford, Chelsea and Manchester City. The decision to strip Captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang of the captaincy and eventually let him leave alongside Lacazette was the final turning point. The one that showed the ruthless side of Arteta. Just before we go into what that is, see that hype button to the channel down below? If you hit that, it'll help us create even better content for you and help reach a wider audience. Thanks! He was going to change the team no matter what, no matter who stood in his way. That campaign that started with 3 defeats in a row. It ended with Arsenal narrowly missing out on qualification to the Champions League after finishing 5th. Now everyone could see, and the critics had gone into hiding again. Arteta's kids had almost qualified for European football's elite competition, and just like that, Arteta was on the verge of winning. And this is where it became very tense. It's almost as if for the next 3 years, Arteta's team became stuck in a cycle. The 2022/23 campaign was a revelation for Arteta and Arsenal. They started with 10 wins out of 12 games. Now even he couldn't deny it. Arsenal was in a title race. They kept the fight up until the final few games of the season, but eventually injuries to players like Gabriel Jesus and William Saliba meant Arsenal had to painfully watch City win the league. On the plus side, Arteta had taken Arsenal to the Champions League for the first time in 6 years. His critics retreated even further. In the following season, Arteta made even more changes, huge ones. Players like Declan Rice joined the club. He now has stability and mobility in midfield. By signing David Raya from Bournemouth, Arteta had a goalkeeper who was as good with his hands as he was with his feet. Arsenal got even closer to the Premier League title. This time, they took the fight to the final day, but again came up short. They finished just 2 points behind City. Runners-up for the second straight season, and all of a sudden, the critics that were hiding came out of nowhere. It all started with a trend.
Watching Arsenal is watching Netflix, you know. You always wait for the next season. And trust me, every season is going to be like that. So don't even get involved, Joe. You know, I'm like really nice.
Claiming Arsenal was like Netflix. You always had to wait for the second season. It was a harsh remark. It ignored the reality that Arsenal had been patiently building. It was a process that was showing obvious signs. They'd made the Champions League quarter-finals in their first season back, runners-up again in the league, and so heading into the 2024/25 season, Arteta was optimistic again. He'd made a promise to the fans the season before.
And please, keep pushing, keep inspiring this team. Don't be satisfied, because we want much more than that, and we're gonna get it. Thank you so much.
That he'd win them the league. It didn't happen. Instead, what happened was Liverpool winning a second league title in 5 years under new manager Arne Slot. And, if you guessed correctly, Arteta's Arsenal team finished second again for the 3rd season in a row. The critics came out in full flow.
What worries me about Arteta, how can I say this? Do I think Arteta is the man to get us over the line? I'm not sure. I hope that he is, but deep down I'm probably thinking I'm on the other side now. Like, let's go and smash it.
Suddenly, it was now a case of whether Arteta was the right man to lead Arsenal over the line. Even his former teammates came at him.
Been there. The differences in Arsenal and Liverpool, where they are kind of allowed to express themselves off the cuff. And when you have some players that will just create that little bit of magic, Arsenal have those players. I just feel at moments in games they're restricted to.
Claimed that his brand of possession-based football was ruining the team. But this season, game by game, Arteta is showing that the team he built brick by brick is finally ready. You can see it in the results. As of recording this, Arteta's team have now won 10 games in a row in all competitions. But it's not just the wins, it's the quality of the teams they've won in these runs, which makes it all the more interesting. Newcastle, St James's Park. They turned a 1-0 defeat, staring them in the face, into a 2-1 win. Beyond that, Mikel Arteta finally got his first win as Arsenal manager at Newcastle in over 3 years, against a manager in Eddie Howe that had the 3rd most wins against him, behind Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp. In this same run, they've shown another side to this team. In what many believed would be the European Haram Derby, Arteta showed how versatile his Arsenal team is. To beat Atletico Madrid is one thing, but to beat Atletico Madrid 4-0? It was a statement result. But there's something even more impressive about Arteta, something he's added to serious effect this season that is guaranteed to shut his critics up and get Arsenal over the line. Somehow, Arsenal have improved even more defensively than they were last season. In that 10-game winning run mentioned earlier, Arsenal had 8 clean sheets in the process. Incredible! It gets even better too. As of recording this, after 10 Premier League games played, Arsenal are first with a 6-point lead over second-placed Manchester City. But going back to that defense again, it gets even better. 3 goals conceded in 10 games this season. When you realize that out of those 3 goals, one was a 35-yard screamer from Dominik Szoboszlai for Liverpool, and the other was from a well-worked Newcastle corner routine, it means from actual direct play goals, Arsenal has conceded just once this season. So why is all of this mental then? It's because Arteta now understands that to break the jinx, it's about the fine margins. It's about knowing how to win and when to win. He knows that defenses win titles now, and it's not just from the players at the back. That clip there, it's from the closing seconds in the 2-0 win against Burnley. Every Arsenal player ran back to cover the spaces and defend. That's the mentality Arteta has instilled into his players. He's built a collective, a team, a unit. His Arsenal team can hurt you in so many ways. Before, his critics used to come at him with one theme, that his Arsenal team was predictable, that they lacked creativity. He's fixed that. Players like Eberechi Eze give Arsenal a new dimension to attack. Add him to players like Saka, Odegaard, and Martin Zubimendi, and Arsenal have different ways of breaking down even the most stubborn teams. Teams sit against them in a low block, hate it or love it, the set pieces are effective. Arsenal, again, as of recording this, have now scored 13 goals from set pieces. No team has scored more. But perhaps the most impressive thing about Arteta's Arsenal now, the one that's going to take them over the line, the one that shows how different they are from previous seasons, is the squad they have. The squad depth is insane. Start from the back, and if David Raya doesn't play, they've got an experienced Champions League and Europa League winner in Kepa. The first choice centre-backs have been Gabriel and William Saliba. Replacing these two with players like Christian Mosquera and Piero Hincapié honestly feels illegal. At left-back, if Riccardo Calafiori doesn't play, he can use the engine of Miles Lewis-Skelly. For a long time, it seemed like Ben White was untouchable because of how good he is. He's still good, but now there's enough reason to believe Arteta has found even better with Jurrien Timber. He's got a proper 6 in Martin Zubimendi now. Backing him is the experienced Christian Norgård. In central midfield, he can choose from Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, Michael Merino, and Ethan Nwaneri. Left wing, Gabriel Martinelli, Eberechi Eze, and Leandro Trossard. Right wing, Bukayo Saka, Noni Madueke, and Max Downman. In attack, Victor Gyökeres, Kai Havertz, or Gabriel Jesus. Arsenal could literally field a B team of players who don't start that will compete for European football. That's how strong this team is. After 3 near misses, the stars have started to align. This has to be the year for Arteta and Arsenal. The champions, Liverpool, have faltered. Manchester City have looked different under Pep. The only constant has been Arteta's Arsenal team and the evolution into what they are now, a machine. What do you think about Mikel Arteta shutting his critics down then? Have there been reasonable accusations against his style and his brand of football? Or is it just hate that's all going to end once Arsenal finally wins a major trophy? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, hype, and subscribe to Matchday Moments as well.